On today's episode of WatchJRGo, we are back at my new house, and today we're going to try to knock out as many things as we can. What is going on, guys? I'm WatchJRGo, and like I said, we're back at my new house in the basement working away, and the first thing we needed to do to get all this working away done was hang another sheet of plywood, like I said. And this sheet of plywood, this is where the water softener is going to set. So I put a GFCI outlet behind the water softener. If anything ever happens to the water softener, the GFCI will trip and all will be well. You have to have power there anyway, so it's a pretty standard setup. And not only is that going to power a water softener, it's also going to power the fin whenever that goes in right here. After that, this is going to come over here. There will be a 90 there, a valve mounted on the wall here. Then this will come up and into the water softener, and after the water softener will come into the manifold, and from there we'll go into everything else, including the RO. RO's on the way. Basically everything will be here this week except for the water softener. We're going to do a Fleck. A lot of people were making their own recommendations, but Culligan is made by Fleck as far as I know. They have the same, if you ever take one apart, you'll notice they have the exact same valve. So, you know, Culligan water softeners are clearly the best in reality, but I don't want to pay a monthly fee. I would never do that. And they don't like selling you parts. Fleck sells you parts and there's no fees. You just buy it. Also, a twin head Culligan's like $10,000 and a twin head Fleck is like $2,000. So if you're buying a water softener, that is my take on it. Order yourself a Fleck. Anyway, this is all working really well. Water's been on for a long time, no leaks. This hasn't come off the wall yet. It will, probably not today, but shortly, very soon, and I'll get that board patched back in. I know a lot of people were loving this rat's nest here. It drives me absolutely insane too. Mostly the grounding. The grounding is what drives me the most insane. You see all the grounds? Look at this. And right back there, there's no light, but they're all just twisted together. All the grounds. So I've already made a little bit of progress today hanging this plywood and getting this outlet in. It took quite a bit of triple checking my measurements, and then I started hanging the board, and I thought this box was still not lining up with the board. It all worked out, luckily. It all worked out just the way I'd measured it out, but while it was going down for a second there, my heart like sank because I was like, I was wrong. I was way wrong on my measurements, and it turns out I wasn't wrong at all. I just had the board out like this, and when I put it back, it moved up enough and everything worked. So that outlet, I don't know. I also cut the outlet out with a Sawzall and a demo blade, so that, of course, took 20 minutes just to cut that hole. Progress. Now, there's another sheet of plywood right there. You guys can clearly see that. And all of this needs to go away, and that plywood needs to go in the corner. So that is part of the today plan. Get that plywood in the corner and get the rack mounted on the plywood, get all this stuff racked and put up where it belongs, and, you know, run the Ethernet into the top, run the power out of the bottom, and that gets us ready for everything. And we'll probably, for now, just cut this. I wanted to just cut that shelf down, but the shelf has to get out of the way to hang the plywood, then the shelf needs to go back. And that'll be our temporary spot for all of the amps for the audio system. All right, let's head upstairs now and take a look at the wall we need to frame today too. All right, guys, it's time for some framing. So Eric's over here drawing some marks on the wall where we're gonna do some cutting. And as soon as we cut out the sheetrock all the way around here, we'll be ready to hang some new boards and frame in a wall. The last bit of the wall opening up here. Eric just dropped that piece of sheetrock, and we're ready. I think we're finally ready to start doing a little framing action here. So we're gonna put that board back up and drop in our double header and our bottom plate, keep going. All right, guys, we're on version 3 of the ceiling right now, but we're getting really close to being done with it. We started framing it over here. There wasn't enough room, so we bumped it over. Here in just a minute, we're gonna make one more adjustment to that board there, and we'll be home free. And now you can see the new wall starting to take shape after a ton of work, a ton of cutting out old nails, pulling out old wood, moving things around. We're finally making some good progress here, and probably a couple more minutes, we'll have this all wrapped up. Once you get the header and the bottom plate in, the rest of it does go really quick. Preparation for Eric getting here, I cleaned all of the 2x4s that I took out of the old wall. And then we got the new wall framed up and we were ready to rock and roll here. And we grabbed some of these old studs off the floor, and guess what? They're all short.
You put a new top plate.
Yeah, we could do another top plate, another bottom plate. We could add on to it. But in reality, we're just gonna buy new studs and take 2 inches off of those, and we'll be back in business. So we got a lot done today. It doesn't look like we got anything done, but I guarantee you this was hours of work. And tomorrow the game plan is to finish getting all the studs in and get this rocked, and then well some of it rocked. Well, we can probably rock one side of it, and then I'll need to leave the other side open to do electrical. So let's run down to the basement and do a little bit more work down there. Ooh, check it out, guys. I got to use those Nova structural lag screws from Screw Products there. This was an awesome kit, just full of all kinds of really useful screws. And I used them on the new rack. So this is the rack where all of the fun stuff's gonna mount. At least by fun stuff, I mean all the networking gear. UPS will be 2U down here at the bottom. There's 1 and 2. And then we'll start on top with like a patch panel, Dream Machine, network switch, maybe even a space for a second patch panel. I don't know yet. We might do something a bit like that. Of course, our Ethernet runs down right here. So we're gonna be pulling in a ton of that here in a few. And temporarily, we'll build some shelves. I'm stepping on hammers here. We'll build some shelves right under the rack, and that will be all of the audio amps. And that's where all the sound and speaker stuff's gonna sit. Whew. So let's get in here, start doing some work. These should be some bags of rack nuts, all that good stuff. They clip in. If you've never done rack nuts before, you clip them in the back and then you put your rack mount stuff on and just screw it in. So that's why they're just squares instead of holes. Some people like them, some people don't. In a lot of audio racks, it's kind of weird. They use ones that actually have screw holes for their rack mount gear. In IT, you always need cage nuts. So we're gonna jump in here real quick, put the network back together because I had to tear it all down since it was sitting on those shelves. And from there, we'll get the cameras back online, stuff like that. We'll just get kind of going again, and then we'll populate this rack as we keep working. Another giant sheet of plywood instead of sheetrock mounted down in this basement. Also, I know I mentioned it, I gotta clean all this up. I got a lot of trips out to the dumpster here. That looks great, doesn't it? I'm pumped about that. All right, we've got the UPS in and powered up. And if you've never done cage nuts before, they look like that. They're literally nuts in a cage, and you just pop them on just like that, and you're ready to mount something in the rack. I think I'm gonna put the Dream Machine at the top, and then we'll go patch panel in 11, switch there, and maybe a second patch panel if I do a 48 port in 10. So let's start mounting. Check it out, guys. Just a couple minutes later, and we are back online. Doesn't that look better than some junk sitting on these old shelves? Now, I was going to put these shelves back, cut them in half, and put them underneath it for some of the audio stuff temporarily, because the eventual amps will all be actually wall mounted in like a square pattern. The thing to do is just lop this off right here and then put these shelves back, you know, make them self-supporting and slide them back up under the rack. And that'll get us on the road for now. We've got a plan to resolve all of this now. We've got a plan, you know, I think we're gonna do a tankless. Everybody wanted a tankless, and I kind of wanted to do a tankless, so we're doing it. I think we found a way to run the PVC for a condensing furnace and leave it in that spot. Obviously, we've got all the water sorted out, in just, well, I've spent 2 or 3 days down here now working away in the basement. And we are almost done. Almost done with the water. Obviously that panel's a down the road project. Almost done with the network, at least the version 1. Here, we'll slap this side panel on it and we'll put the front panel on it, and then we'll lock the rack. So there's that. There's little latches inside this. And once you flip them up and release them, it locks the side doors in. And now the final piece. Boom. I got the keys. We can lock the rack up. Everything, you know, the cameras are taken care of because the hard drive's locked away. So this works. Full disclosure, this is the exact same setup I run at my house. And I've had it for 10 years. So I literally went back in my orders, found out what rack I had, and bought it again. So at least at my other house, it's a lot better because there's actual, the GPONs in here, the 1 gig fiber, and the 48 port PoE enterprise switches in there. So obviously I built that 10 years ago. It's never had an issue. And it's just a great setup. I also keep my NAS in here locked up too. So battery backup, NAS, all the network gear, and you're set. All the smart home stuff, I don't really care about that. I mount it all on the wood. So Hue bridges, garage door bridges, that'll all just mount on the wood as we go. So there you have it, guys. We basically got a wall framed in, everything but the studs, and we got the basement basically done in a day. I've just got little touch-up stuff to go, and all that shelving ripped out of it. It was all terrible. Look at this. It all just split into pieces as we ripped it out. All right, I got a lot of stuff to throw away. That is it for today, guys. Thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to head on over to shop WatchJRGo.com for cool shirts just like this. And please like, share, subscribe, do whatever you want to do. And I will talk to you next time. Look, this makes me super happy. It's one of my favorite parts of every build. And there's the sump pump. Some people asked if I have tested it. I have tested it many times. I put water in it, tested it, and then today it's raining, so it ran right there for a second. And of course, getting all this ready, another big job knocked out. Well, it's the next day. Eric talked to Jeff, and Jeff said, put another top plate in the way you should have done it in the beginning. So we added that top plate, and we were able to reuse all of the old lumber without any issues here. So you guys can see the wall's all framed up, the new closet's all framed up, and a lot of people want like a floor plan of the house. Well, it's pretty simple. Here's the garage right here. After the garage, you walk into the kitchen, and from the kitchen, you can go either way temporarily. Well, you'll still be able to go to the dining room, right? This is the dining room. New closet, coat closet, my closet, and then you'll walk through here. This wall is coming down to what's marked out now. We just did all of our planning. We're gonna cut it all the way down to there. There'll be a cap up to there, and then glass around the rest of this. Here's the living room. Here's the bathroom. That's gonna be, this closet's going away because this bathroom is only 4x4, which is impossible to even be in. If you use the toilet, you can't close the door. It's insane. The laundry room closet there will get cut down a little bit. And of course, there's our new thermostat. This is all gonna be opened up. There's your coat closet right there. Here's the master bedroom that has no lights. Here's the closet we just built. We'll have it sheetrocked and wired and ready to rock this weekend. I think it'll be finished next week. And then of course, here's the master bathroom, which now that we have a giant closet, we can delete that wall and make this bathroom much larger and give it like a toilet room and make the shower better, everything better. Then of course there's the basement. We'll talk about that some other time, but now the people that wanted a floor plan, you got a floor plan. It really doesn't take too long to walk through all of this. Just a little bit of zigzag, and once this kitchen's all sorted out, it'll make access to everything a lot better. Getting this wall done was a big check off the checklist, that's for sure. But look at that board right there. What a bow. And that's just in the board. I think I actually had set that one aside for us to not use it, but it'll be just fine. We're gonna use it. Some of them had some big twists in them, even though they are OG wood. A little tie block would fix that.